What's good, Patreon? It's your boy Jones. I hope everybody had a blessed weekend. I hope the Lord Almighty saw you guys through the weekend. The weekends have been very interesting for me, paying attention to the markets and whatnot. Okay, let's get straight into this. I'm not gonna tarry for long. Are we in a bull trap? Right, that is the question. And guys, I'm going to be quite frank with you. This is not financial advice. You guys know I'm not a financial advisor. I'm giving my opinion. If you guys recalled, when Bitcoin was at 55K, I was saying that we would get to go down to 35K. And we went even lower than that. We went down to 34K. This was back in December. I was calling it for, two months, right? Well, actually, I was calling it late November. So yeah, yeah, mid-November, if I recall, late November, about 2 months. Everything's on record, guys. This is one of the reasons why I love doing Patreon videos, because you guys can go back. Now, here's my opinion on Bitcoin, and we're always going to focus on Bitcoin first because Bitcoin will allow us to see where the market is going because Bitcoin is the HNIC when it comes to all the coins, right? Here's my opinion. If we don't get past 47K or 50K, then I'm not really excited, okay? Because yeah, it could be a bull trap. And so one of the reasons people might say, well, why 50K? You guys got to remember, we almost hit 70K before, right? So for me, if I see an upwards movement of beyond 50K, then I don't think we're in a bull trap. But you know what? I was looking at the charts on Friday, and the pumps look very artificial to me. They look like artificial pumps. It looks like, to me, whale manipulation is going on. Once again, my opinion. And looking at the charts and also going over that with some people that I trust, the pumps just look artificial. It looks like the whales are trying to pump the market and kind of get excitement back in, so that way they can dump again. Okay, now let's say we go beyond 50K, then I do think that the bull run resumes, right? Because as I said a week or two ago, we are in a mini bear market, as I said last week. And I know some people are thinking, well, what if you're wrong, Solo? So if I'm wrong, let's say let's say 43 or 44 or even 45 is the top. Then unfortunately we're going to go down, and we're going to go down hard. There's a lot of FUD coming, okay? Let's begin first with what's going on here on the 15th. The US Senate slates hearing on stablecoins for February the 15th. Every time the House of Representatives or the Senate does some sort of a hearing, there is a lot of fear, uncertainty, doubt, FUD, right? And make no mistake, the government right now is trying to slow the growth of stablecoins because stablecoins is basically would put banks out of business, CBDCs, etc., right? Because there's no need for them. You don't need a bank if you have a stablecoin. That's what stablecoins are supposed to do since they're pegged to the dollar, right? And governments don't want that. So this meeting is on February the 15th. Now, guys, I will say that I'm coming out with my top 10 coins next week sometime. It'll probably come out on the 14th, right? So a lot of my strategy is going to be based off of what's happening, but I'm going to wait to see what happens this week. I'm currently working on that PowerPoint for you guys, and I'm just waiting because I'm expecting a lot of price fluctuations to occur on the 15th. And so I might not even release this. I probably am going to wait until the 16th to release it, right? Because then it'll give me better insight to how the market responds to the Senate hearing and what would transpire over it. But if my intuition and what we've seen in the past doesn't serve me wrong, I think we're going to see a dump. I think we're going to see a major dump. And how low can we go? I think that we may go down to 29, 28. Okay. Now, if I'm wrong, guys, if we go past 50, I think then we're going to retest the previous all-time high again. That's just my opinion. All right. Now, you also have this here going on in Texas. Let me play this for you guys and hear what's going on with the mining in Texas, and then I'll give you my opinion.
Now seeing dozens of cryptocurrency mining companies setting up shop here in Central Texas.
And you might not know because those companies aren't regulated by any state or federal agency. And some worry that those companies will put a strain on the state's power grid. I dug into why so many cryptocurrency related companies are flocking to the Lone Star State. Driving into one of the largest Bitcoin mining facilities in North America. I didn't know what to expect.
Where are we? What is all of this?
So we're inside Riot's Bitcoin mining facility here in Rockdale, Texas.
An unusually large mining facility in a small Texas town, an hour from Austin.
This building is 1,050 feet long and 60 feet wide. You don't see this in Bitcoin mining.
Chad Harris is the CEO, and all around us are thousands of computers buzzing like worker bees, mining almost non-stop to create a sweet profit, Bitcoin. Let's back up. What is Bitcoin? It's a form of cryptocurrency, which is pretty much a...
Okay, guys, and I'm stopping this, and I know you guys are wondering, well, how is this FUD, Solo? We'll get to that in a second. By the way, this is not really FUD. This is great. But there is some FUD associated with this. But I want people to pay attention how Texas is moving. Austin, Texas, I think, will be the New York of the South. I think Austin, Texas is going to be the technological center, the technology center of America within the next 5 to 10 years. Let's keep, and the video will kind of give some of the reasoning as to why I think that. So let's continue.
Form of digital money, usually called a coin. Bitcoin is the original form of cryptocurrency, and right now it's the most valuable. In April of 2021, one Bitcoin was worth more than $60,000, but the price fluctuates often, and creating more coins or mining them takes a lot of energy.
If I sent $20 in Bitcoin to you, requires approximately the amount of electricity that an American household would use in an entire month.
William Magnuson is a cryptocurrency legal expert.
The problem is that's massively energy intensive.
He worries that the intense energy usage will lead to more carbon emissions. So why does crypto mining require so much power?
There's about 100,000 machines here currently.
Harris says every machine or miner is racing 24 hours a day to solve a complicated math problem. The computer that solves it first produces the new unique Bitcoin.
So one single machine, after power cost, earns about $30 to $31 a day.
Working together, Harris says these machines make about 63 Bitcoins a day. That translates to more than $3 million. And to do that, the facility needs 300 megawatts of energy. But after every coin is made, it's harder to solve that complicated math problem, which leads to a demand for even more energy. Which is why Riot Windstone is expanding, adding enough computers to need another 400 megawatts. That's enough to power a large city.
You guys hear that? You see that, guys? If you look at, you see that? Look at this right here. This is beautiful. If you are into mining, or you are into, mining, and you understand what's going on, this right here should make you smile. Guys, expansion is happening rapidly. Once again, every time I post videos like this, I have people who smirk at me. Oh, it doesn't mean anything. Guys, you see how big that building is? And they're adding on to it. This is more indication that mass adoption is happening. And Texas, when we're talking about in America, is in the forefront of that, right? This place is, what's the city called? Rockwell or whatever? It's an hour away from Austin, Texas. Guys, this is going to become the technological hub of America. I'm calling it right now, and some other people have been calling it for years. But this is more receipts, right, guys? Because I know sometimes people think, I think a lot of people think sometimes I just make stuff up and I just talk to talk. No, guys, I watch a lot of different content. I read a lot of different articles. I do technical analysis with the basic level that I understand it. I confirm with the conglomerate. That's you guys in the Patreon. Some of you guys are millionaires. Some of you guys are future billionaires. There's so much information that I go sift through. You know what I mean? I feel like an oracle with crypto. And I'm not saying I'm all knowing. That's not what I'm saying. But when I say I'm an oracle, it's kind of like I feel like I'm just processing all this information, guys. And all I'm doing is I'm taking information that I think is credible and is not credible, and then I feed it back to you guys in Patreon, and I condense it so that way you guys are able to see what is going on, right? To a lot of people watching this, this may not be surprising, but to some of you guys, now you guys get an actual view of the process of mining and what it entails.
Texas has some of the lowest cost energy in the world.
Those costs, along with business incentives, are why cryptocurrency miners and related companies are flocking to Texas.
We think that the ethos of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and blockchain in general fits very well with the state of Texas.
Lee Bratcher started the Texas Blockchain Council in 2020 with the goal of making Texas Bitcoin mining country and Austin the Bitcoin mining capital of the world.
You hear that? You hear that? And you know what, guys? This is, if you're not aware of it, and I mean, I've talked about Austin before on top places to live in. You know, I've talked about Texas before, particularly Austin, in top cities to live in, because Austin is very attractive to businesses. As you see, the energy costs, electricity costs are low. They also have very great taxes that are very crypto friendly. And I want people to pay attention because for some of you guys, Austin may be the place that you want to move. Austin is definitely a place that I want to visit again. I'm not sure if I will be living there, but it's definitely a place I will be visiting again because you guys know, or for those that don't know, I went to Austin last year to link up with Ian Bellina, who's my friend, as well as who is my mentor who brought me into cryptocurrency. If it wasn't for Ian, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. And so I'm doing this, guys, to show you that there's a lot of big things going on that you may not even be aware of.
Just about a month ago, held the Texas Blockchain Summit. About 700 thought leaders and industry professionals from all over the country attended the event in Austin. We had both the Texas senators, Cruz and Cornyn, in attendance.
Both senators and Governor Greg Abbott said they support Texas becoming a crypto leader.
Several of the largest Bitcoin mining companies in the world are headquartering themselves in Austin. There's so much tech talent in Austin.
Blockcap Mining moved its headquarters from Las Vegas to Austin in 2021. And there are more than 4 dozen blockchain companies in Austin. Blockchain systems essentially serve as digital ledgers. Most of the time, they're used to track Bitcoin activity and transactions. And just less than a mile away from Riot Whinstone is another leading Bitcoin miner in the continent. But the big concern, can Texas support the power demand?
We know that the Texas electricity...
Okay, this is where we get into the FUD part, right? Now, this is great, guys. I mean, Texas is at the forefront of it. You heard about how blockchain companies are there as well. And so Texas recognizes that this is the future, right? And a lot of people know, and I'm winding this back a little bit, you guys know that I'm very, very big on mass adoption. I think this is what's going to catapult cryptocurrency, right? And I was watching a documentary yesterday on Hulu regarding the dot-com bubble and how everybody was trying to come out with, websites like PetSmart and Petco and all of that, right? And guys, right now, if you look at it, we are at the forefront. But we're even earlier, a little earlier than some people. So I would say we're around 95, 97, if you had to compare that to Internet 1.0. And this is why when you hear people talk about Web 3.0, that's the space we're about to enter, right? Now, the question I know that everybody has is, which blockchains, which cryptos are going to be around? Well, this is why I'm here, guys, because quite frankly, and I'm not trying to keep rambling, a lot of cryptocurrencies that are in the top 10 right now, I don't think they'll be in the top 10 next year, right? I remember back in 2019, Bitcoin Cash and EOS were in the top 10. EOS is not even in the top 20 anymore. EOS is not even in the top 30 right now. In 2019, EOS was ranked the number 3 cryptocurrency. Currently, right now, it's USDT. EOS is in the top 50. I think it's ranked number 50. Let me take a look, right? And so EOS, was one that a lot of people were very bullish on. A lot of people invested in because of the fact that a lot of people thought that EOS, with its infrastructure, it being a blockchain that will will be impressive. Some thought it was going to be the Ethereum killer, right? And I know that there are a lot of blockchains coming out right now that are saying that they're the Ethereum killer. But EOS right now is ranked number 50. Now 57 on CoinGecko and 50 on LifeCoinWatch.com. Can EOS have a comeback to its previous all-time high, which was about $24, if I'm not mistaken, or it could have been more than that? Of course. All-time high was $22.71 back in 2018. 2019, I remember EOS was $12, and I was debating on buying it. I'm glad I didn't. Now EOS is at $262. And here's the thing, guys, you don't really hear me talk about EOS. I talked about EOS back in 2018. I don't talk about EOS no more, right? And I'm not saying that EOS is trash or whatnot, but the truth of the matter is EOS technology is outdated compared to when we talk about other blockchains such as Solana, even like ADA. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the reasons why I put out that blockchain list for you guys, is because a lot of blockchains that might be popping right now, they probably won't be popping next year. But once again, I digress. I do not know. And so let's go back to the video.
Dozen blockchain companies in Austin. Blockchain systems essentially serve as digital ledgers. Most of the time, they're used to track Bitcoin activity and transactions. And just less than a mile away from Riot Whinstone is another leading Bitcoin miner in the continent. But the big concern, can Texas support the power demand?
We know that the Texas electricity grid is unstable.
Meteorologists Erica Lopez and Hunter Williams here as well, as they're tracking a major winter storm tonight.
Austin Energy now saying about 35% of Austin residents, Austin Energy customers, are without power tonight.
And these storms have had deadly consequences for Texans.
The freeze of February 2021 crippled the Texas power grid, leading to hundreds of deaths. Crypto mining supporters argue they bring balance to the grid in 2 ways. One, by using energy that otherwise wouldn't be used.
If I wasn't using the amount of power that I'm using, you would be paying more for your power.
And 2, by being able to power down quickly when electricity demand is high.
Now that may not make sense to some people, but so talking about power, my internet disconnected for a moment, right? But it makes sense because with power, a lot of people don't realize, but you have on peak and off peak hours, right? Now, typically the cheapest when electricity is late at night and early in the morning. But let's go back to the video, guys. And I'm sorry, like I said, it's not that my electricity went out, it's my internet.
1, by using energy that otherwise wouldn't be used.
If I wasn't using the amount of power that I'm using, you would be paying more for your power.
And 2, by being able to power down quickly when electricity demand is high.
Bitcoin miners can turn off within 5 seconds. So they actually provide grid resiliency by increasing baseload demand.
How do we know that all cryptocurrency miners are acting responsibly?
Cryptocurrency mining isn't regulated in Texas, so there's no rule forcing miners to turn off. But Harris says there's an incentive. Their electricity costs are lowered if they shut down during peak demand in the summer. Harris said they voluntarily powered down about 72 times last year.
including during the winter storm. But Harris admits not everyone will live by the honor code and shut down when needed.
You're going to have gold standard, and we believe we're it. And then you're going to have people that might not behave the same way.
Since the winter storm, state leaders made it mandatory for power plants to winterize. But a UT Energy expert said that's not enough.
Half the power plants in ERCOT run on natural gas. If we don't fix the natural gas sector, then it doesn't really help to have power plants that can operate if you can't get fuel to them, because they're not going to make electricity.
Because blockchain is unregulated, it's unclear how many Bitcoin miners are in Texas, which means it's hard to know how much power they're actually using.
And I will say this. When regulation comes into play, which I believe will happen this year or next year for sure, they're going to regulate that as well. Miners are going to be regulated. Stable coins are going to be regulated. Cryptocurrency companies are going to be regulated. The market will be regulated. And so right now, everybody's trying to, eat. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's trying to get as much as they can. And honestly, I'm not mad at that. I really am not.
We need our government regulators to step in and clarify the rules that apply to cryptocurrencies.
We don't regulate any other load, be that large petrochemical refineries and oil and gas facilities on the Gulf Coast.
There are still a lot of unknowns, but one thing's for sure. The buzz surrounding Bitcoin is growing. You can now use it to buy Dallas Mavericks tickets or exchange currency at your local HEB. And soon, you'll start seeing QR codes to use Bitcoin at restaurants.
That's exactly what it's designed to do, is to create a financial opportunity, freedom, with no outside governance, to allow people to exchange currency for goods and services. And it's amazing.
As miners swarm to Texas, only time will tell if the buzzing machines will pollinate our electricity grid or give it a paralyzing sting. In Austin, I'm Darren Isha Heron.
Okay, guys, and I thought...
Look, there is no sign of this thing slowing down here in Central Texas. Tomorrow, there will be a huge crypto mining conference at the Kalahari Resorts. So we'll see how this all goes as they continue to flock to our area.
This is such a complicated issue and so many different ideas and things to consider, and you did a great job just bundling it all together and making it clear for someone like myself who has no idea what cryptocurrency was until watching that great piece.
And guys, I thought that they did a very fair and balanced job. Salute to this lady, you know what I'm saying, with her cute self. No thirst, no thirst, but hey. So why is this FUD? Okay, let me clarify, guys. This is not FUD. The FUD part is the regulation. Anytime the R word comes in, and I'm talking about regulation, there's always that fear, uncertainty, doubt, right? But I think that Austin, Texas is leading the way, as I said before, and as you guys just saw why. And I think that this is great news. Now, the miners did have to shut down because there was a big storm not too long ago in Texas last week. And so that may have affected the mining in crypto. But remember, guys, Bitcoin is not regulated just in one state or one country or one city, right? Remember when the China FUD happened? Guess what? Crypto kept on chirping, right? Because of the fact that other countries picked up the slack, which allowed other countries then to be able to mine more, right? And so but the FUD part, and I know, Bill, you're always focusing on FUD. The FUD part is regulation. That is the FUD part. But the news, this whole segment in general, I thought overall was very fair and balanced. And it gives you guys an idea of mass adoption, how they said that QR codes, who hasn't been since 2020, since COVID came into play? If you've been to a restaurant, you've already been using QR codes, because now a lot of restaurants, in my area anyway, have gone away from paper menus, right? So you scan the QR code to look at, and then it pops up on your phone where you can look at the menu. Well, what's going to happen is with the QR codes, that's one of the ways you'll be able to pay in crypto, right? Your phone is going to be your wallet. It's already your computer in essence. Your phone is going to be the most important device, your cell phone, that you will have on you, to the point that now when people in the future, when people will get robbed, they're not going to say, I need your wallet. They're going to say, yo, where's your phone at? Now, the biggest thing I'm paying attention to is the Russia-Ukraine situation. And I'm not going to play the video, but basically, the press secretary of the United States came out yesterday saying that Russia is basically gearing up for war. And why is Russia trying to get at Ukraine? My personal belief is that Russia is doing this for oil, that this is, when war happens, guys, it's not because, oh, I don't like this country, so we're going to war. No, it's always about resources, okay? So I think that Russia right now is gearing up for war because I think that Russia thinks America is in a vulnerable state and that we won't do anything. And guys, listen, I'm not here to be political. You guys know me. I'm not a Democrat, not at all. I'm not a Republican. If you were to say, call me a moderate, an independent or a libertarian, I'll take that. I don't have a political agenda, guys, okay? My agenda is strictly to see cryptocurrency become mass adopted. And me, what is my role in this? My role is to educate people like yourself, to give you the information so that way you can get the best cryptocurrency possible. That way my hope is that in the future that you attain wealth and abundance. And then my hope is also that when the transition happens to mass adoption, that you will be able to pivot, because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to need help or that will refuse to pivot. But they've already been, for lack of better verbiage, grooming the mass public on crypto. Think about it. Every time you use Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal, it's no different than going on Coinbase app or CoinGecko app or any other, even Atomic Wallet type app, right? There's a lot of similarities. So mass adoption, I think, is going to be happening faster than we think, right? I'm not going to say that mass adoption will happen in one day. No, they've been accelerating it, right? And this is one of the reasons why, guys, I've pivoted to just fully focusing on crypto, because when I saw the acceleration of adoption happening, El Salvador, for example, right? And now you got Brazil, El Salvador making Bitcoin their official country's national currency. And now you got Brazil in talks about it, right? Guys, this is happening faster and faster. So when I state the reasons as to the market crashing, guys, these are some of the reasons, right? Now, the Texas one is not that big of a deal in regards to regulation. I think that Texas is the most crypto-friendly state out of all the states. Well, if you were to count Puerto Rico as a state, then I would say Puerto Rico. But if we're talking about the lower 48, then definitely Texas. But this right here is huge. And I'm not here, guys, to spread conspiracy theories. Some of the biggest crypto YouTubers, guys, have talked about this Russian conflict. They've talked about it on Crypto Jeb. He's a big YouTuber. BitBoy Crypto has talked about this. He's got over 1 million followers. This is important because it affects the market. Because a couple weeks ago, Bitcoin dropped on the 24th. Bitcoin dropped 9% when more of this Russian FUD came out. And so, guys, I'm paying attention to this, and I hope that you guys are as well, okay? Now, I do want to say this. On the positive side, having the right mindset is 90% of the game. Mindset is everything. And that is by Mr. Whale. He's a big influencer on Twitter. A lot of people say that he's always fudding, but I don't think he's a fudder. I think Mr. Whale is a guy who's very realistic about when he looks at Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and where it goes, and he's been right more than he's been wrong, okay? And you guys already know my criteria. When I follow these people on Twitter, I look to see if they're consistent, if they're right, or if they're wrong. And one of the things about me is, you guys know me, if I'm wrong, I'll say that I'm wrong. I thought that Shiba Inu was going to pump back in January, right? And it didn't do anything. Now, The great news is, though, Shiba Inu, and we're going to end this on a positive note, Shiba Inu did pump 75% in the last 2 weeks. So I guess my timing was off, right? And so the question is, okay, well, it's pumping, but from the lows, why is it pumping? Well, once again, guys, and this is my opinion, I think that whales want people to get out of SHIB so they can buy for the low, and now they're buying back in. And so I think that Shiba Inu, guys, is going to have a fantastic March. Depending on what will happen, I think SHIB is going to have a great March. And so this is, you guys know I'm very, very bullish on SHIB. I know a lot of people are like, yeah, this and that, but Shiba Inu, if you look at any other, and I don't consider Shiba a meme coin anymore. I do think Shiba has proven that they have utility. With the fact that as soon as Wellies in Italy, which is a burger joint, it's kind of like White Castle, I guess. As soon as they decided to accept Shiba Inu as a form of payment, I mean, now the utility is there, right? It's a form of payment. And Shiba is also working on their own metaverse, Shiberse, and as well as a video game. So I think that Shiba Inu is due for a massive breakout. I don't think that'll happen until March, though. But I think that if you are stocking up on SHIB, I think that you will be very well pleased. And me personally, I've been stocking up on SHIB. Guys, you guys know it's not a secret. I do think that this 26% increase that we saw yesterday, and even the 75% increase, there will definitely be a retracement of SHIB again, because of the fact that I think that if we're not in a bull trap, or if we are in a bull trap, then SHIB, of course, is going to be affected as well. But if we're not in a bull trap, I mean, SHIB has gone up 75% in the last 2 weeks. So Shiba Inu is one that I'm still following. And yeah, guys, so to wrap up this long video, so yes, there's been, the market is green, and I'm not trying to sound like a thudder. You guys know I'm one of the most bullish.
A list of businesses and industries.
I'm one of the most bullish people in the crypto space, but I'm very realistic. When Bitcoin was over 55K, I called 35K, and we went down to 34, right? However, if we do not make it past, as I said, if we don't go past 45 or 50, and I'm talking about if we don't blow by 50, I'm not talking about 51,000. I'm talking about 53,000, then this is a bull trap. I really do think it's a bull trap. Anyway, guys, more is coming out this week. I have more stuff coming out this week. And then next week, guys, be on the lookout for my top 10 coins, because I'm really waiting to see what happens on February 15th. This is going to be the telling sign, guys. What happens on the 15th will dictate a lot going on in the market. And so I'm going to probably drop the PowerPoint, the guide for that on the 16th, just to see what's going on. And I'm working on it right now, because it's going to take me, you know, a week to work on it anyway, to compile the cryptos, which I already know the top 10 I'm looking to get into, but everything is based on my strategy, right? And so let's say this, I will say this. Let's say that we are going back up to 50K, right? I'm probably gonna start, if we go up to beyond 50K, like I'm thinking 55, then I'll be taking profits on BTC, facts. If we do not get beyond 55 and we are in a bull trap, well then guys, stay tuned for that PowerPoint. Also, the blockchain PowerPoint, I dropped the PDF guide a day early. So guys, I hope that you take advantage of that. I think that PowerPoint is probably one of my best ones, right? I took my time working on that. That PowerPoint, guys, was basically a 3 to 4 month process. And I got to shout out King Nick, because King Nick, a lot of the cryptocurrencies that you see on that PowerPoint are because of King Nick's suggestions. However, I did my due diligence on all those PowerPoints, and particularly Valus. And I'm very, very bullish on Valus, and I think that that might be a PowerPoint. But guys, just to wrap this up, I mean, if you look at this, right, I'm going to show you guys something here real quick.